Giant insects ruled the Earth 300 million years ago. They gradually became extinct throughout time, which is when the dinosaurs appeared. However, what if that didn't occur? What if there were still enormous worms, dragonflies, and scorpions in the world today? And how did they become extinct? So, here's what would happen if those enormous insects never went extinct. The Carboniferous period. The Carboniferous period, often known as the Age of Oxygen, lasted from 400 million to 290 million years ago. Supersized griffin flies or dragonfly imitators could reach wingspans of up to 70 centimeters. They flew here and there, consuming smaller insects. The griffin flies were also 45 centimeters long. They have hawk-like vision and enormous eyes. Their pointy legs aided in catching their meals. The Mazzatheros came next. It had 6 wings and measured 55 centimeters in length. It possessed 2 sets of normal wings in addition to 2 sets of winglets. But what makes it the scariest? Its mouth resembled a beak and was fitted with a sucking pump. It would pierce plant tissues and consume their juices, much like a vampire would. Next comes the 2.5-meter-long enormous millipede called Arthropleura. Fortunately, this individual only eats vegetarian. He consumed nuts, leaves, and fruits. But wait a moment. What initially caused these insects to grow to such a large size? The answer is the climate on Earth at the time. What else happened during that period? It was warm at the start of this period, some 350 million years ago. Additionally, the warm temperature promoted growth in plants. Atmosphere oxygen levels were roughly 20% at this time, which is comparable to current Earth levels. Fast forward 50 million years later, massive forests have taken over and swamps cover lower-lying areas. The percentage of oxygen in the air has increased to 35%. Now, the insects were large due to the high atmospheric oxygen levels. But then things changed 150 million years ago. While oxygen levels increased, insect size decreased. Why? Because an aggressive insect killer showed up. As you may know, birds are a species of flying dinosaur. These birds feasted on insects. Insects had a higher chance of being consumed by birds depending on how big they were. Therefore, becoming small and agile was an evolutionary survival strategy for insects. The tiny insects survived, but the larger ones became extinct. Now that we are aware of the fate of the enormous insects, but was there any possibility that they could have escaped going extinct? Yes, raising the oxygen levels to 35% would be the simplest course of action. The insects might grow larger, but they would still be hunted by birds, which are often stronger. Therefore, our insects require improved means of survival. Let's examine some of the largest insects that exist today, including the weta. It is 10 centimeters in length and dates even before the dinosaurs. How therefore has it endured? By obtaining a separate island. As for the weta, that's New Zealand. For millions of years, there were no predators to worry about while it resided here. However, as a long-term survival strategy, it's not exactly proven effective. Predators eventually got to New Zealand, and wetas today live at the Auckland Zoo. Well, we must find a better solution for these enormous insects. 35% oxygen, but what would happen to the evolution of humans and mammals? Would we even survive? Because it would be harmful to us now if our air suddenly contained 35% oxygen. It would cause coughing, difficulty in breathing, and even more severe cases. On the other hand, if humans and apes had evolved in an oxygen-rich environment, with more oxygen present, our cells would be supercharged and produce even more energy. We'd be super runners and swimmers, breaking all of the current records. And our brains would have developed to become even larger and faster, using 20% of the oxygen in our breath. Okay, let's go back to the present day. How does the world appear? Well, throughout the summer, you would see huge griffin flies and 6-winged insects buzzing out of your window instead of just different birds. If you went outside, would you be attacked by these enormous arthropods? The enormous insects would eventually avoid humans, just as the birds would have eventually evolved to leave them alone. Now, we might have huge spiders and cockroaches in addition to giant bugs buzzing outside. Finally, I believe that humans may exist with huge insects. But what if it wasn't simply the enormous insects? What if the dinosaurs, the other enormous creatures from our distant past, never went extinct? That sounds a bit strange. However, what are your thoughts about today's video? Don't forget to leave all of them in the comments section below. Stay tuned to watch our next video.